This is literally the only tool that lets you do a full SEO audit completely for free and even schedule it every month. And if you set it up correctly, and only then, you'll be able to find things that agencies charge thousands for. In this video, I'm going to show you the only free SEO audit tool that exists out there, how to use it, and most importantly, how to actually do an SEO audit the same way I do for my clients, so you can do it as well. So let's get to it. Ta-da! Here is the magic tool. I cannot believe it exists. It's actually been free for around 5 years now, so I'm hopeful they just keep it like that. If you want the link of the tool, just watch the whole video and I'll give it to you at the end. But it's pretty simple. All you have to do is put your website right here and then sign up for free. Lovely. But there's one crucial thing. You need to make sure you sign up with the same Google Gmail account that has access to your Google Search Console. Because you will get a step here where you can add your website manually, but honestly, it's a bit of a mess. So I'm guessing you already have a Google Search Console. So you'll see a step where you're logged in with your Google account, import, you'll select your Google account like I have right here, and then it will identify your projects in Google Search Console. So all you have to do is select it. You don't need to start an audit right now necessarily. You can schedule it weekly and make sure you click external links and then just import. So once you're inside the tool, you actually go to more and then site audit right there. So you see that section. And then right here, you will see your project. You see I have a lot from a lot of clients. And then all you have to do is go and click it. And the first time you won't see anything here. So you just go and start the new crawl. Depending on how big your website is, it can take from normally like 15 minutes to quite a lot of hours. So keep that in mind. And once it's done, you'll see all of this juicy SEO data and it's all improvements you can implement, which I'm going to show you next. So once you're here and it's done, don't be scared because there's a lot of places you can click in and it looks scary, but don't worry, you just have to go to all issues. So here's the funny thing that happens with a lot of my clients where I want to see issues because that means we have things to fix and we'll rank better. So it's that paradox where if there's no issues, normally means it's good, but for me it's not because it's like you want things to fix. So hopefully you have issues, but then you can fix them, which I'm going to show you how. But once you're here, honestly, the tool makes it so easy. It's unbelievable. It basically is going to show you all the issues that have been identified in your website and then which ones are an error, which are in red. Those are normally like big things that you need to fix, a warning, which is in yellow, and then a notice. But regardless, let's say 404 pages. So basically this means there's a few pages in the website that are dead. All you have to do is just click and always go here. Why and how to fix it. This is crucial. So he explains what the issue is, what I just said in a more elaborated manner, and then how to fix it. And then if this is not enough, it actually takes you to another resource that shows you even more in depth how to fix this in your website. So it's like having your own SEO just for you there. And what's crucial is that it's going to show you what pages are affected, if these pages have traffic, and more information about them. But before I show you the actual process I use in my agency to do a technical audit, you first need to know this. Although you have the help of the importance here, so initially I would look at all of them and I will trust what's an error, a notice, and a warning. With experience, you're going to realize that there are things that are actual errors, like this one right here, but there are actual things that show you as a warning, so it might look like a big deal, but it isn't. The meta description being too long is not something you really have to fix. Or also, it could point out issues that it's a big deal and no index, but when you go to that page, we actually added no index ourselves, so it's not really an error. There's nothing to fix there. So my point here is that over time, as you continue doing audits either weekly or monthly, you'll see some things here as an error, but you'll need to learn to ignore them because you know it's either not really a big deal, meaning I'm not going to go and change the description of these things because it's just not really a ranking factor, or because you actually want it that way. So you need to learn to ignore some things. But for the actual errors, this is exactly what I do. I check the error and I see if it's really an error, like I mentioned. So if it is an error, I go and add it in my docs right here. Then I look at in depth why it's an error and how to fix it. And then I go and visit the pages as well as looking at any other context right here. And I create a video for the client and for the developer to explain what the error is and the nuances of it, as well as most importantly, how to fix it, what they exactly need to do to fix it. And then finally, I just go to export and I export the exact set of URLs and I upload it in a Google Sheets right here so the developer can access it, and then I copy the link of that Google Sheets and put it right there with them. So now the client has everything they need to understand what the error is, the developer what it is that they need to do to fix it. And finally, we can actually use this as a journal and a logging system on the status of the task and when is it actually going to be completed. This is one of the many actions you need to do with big websites or big clients. So if you want more of these tips and tricks, check out this video, which is in the card and in the description after you're done with this one. Now, I thought that instead of going through each one and teach you and explain what it is, if it's an error, if not, how to fix it, it's better that I just give you access to this. Like I said, right here, it will tell you exactly what it is and how to fix it. And I'm going to give you something more valuable, which is the errors that the tool doesn't tend to identify as an SEO error, but it actually is a big SEO error. The first error is internal linking between blogs. A lot of people think the most important thing to rank a blog is the first stuff, right? The title, the key takeaways, table of content, all the content in here. But it isn't. It's actually all the way down the page right here. You know, when you go to a blog and you finish it and it's like, read more, you might also like. A lot of people don't really put that in their website. Or if they do, they just link to a few blogs and that's it. The problem is that a lot of people don't realize that these are actually internal links to other blogs of the website. So for my client, I have a lot of blogs. I have more than 8 blogs. So if I only added 8, I'm only internal linking to 8 other blogs instead of all the others. So instead of adding 8, just add a carousel with all of them. Here, you can continue going and going. You have all the blogs that I have in my website. So this blog right here is linking to all the other blogs. And then all the other blogs are linking to all the other blogs and so on. So they all internally link to each other. And the worst thing is when I see clients that have done this, it's like, yes, you've done it, but they've done it wrong. A lot of people go and actually put the link right in the div. They either put the link in the square that you see there or the link in the image, and they don't put the link in the text. So to see that, you need to right click, go to inspect, and then select this thing right here, and then go and select just the text. And you should be able to see an A space hrefs. Href, not hrefs, that's the SEO tool. That means that this is an HTML link attribute. And you see the link right there. There's the link. And then inside it, the anchor text, which is the text inside the link, is right there. And that picks up automatically the name of the blog in this case. The reason why this is important is because Google uses anchor text to understand what the other page is about. So in this case, it can look at differences between soccer and football cleats and look at the page. And that is the keyword that page is trying to rank for. So Google can be more confident that page is about that topic and it will rank that page better. The other thing that SEO tools don't show you is the canonical. So we stay in this page right here and you want to go and get this extension, Detailed SEO, and the link is in the description of the video, and you want to go and check. It will open the overview and scroll all the way down and make sure that under canonical, it has a canonical to itself and that it says self-referencing. The other thing you'll normally see is just no canonical, no URL here. And if you get that, you need to add a canonical. The great thing is that it's super easy. If you're in WordPress, you just need to download the extension Yoast SEO, which you might have heard about, or the other one is Rank Math. The moment you literally just install that plugin, it will sort out automatically for you all the canonicals by itself. And it will add a canonical that self-references to each page for all the pages in your website. Another big one, and this is especially crucial for e-commerce, is if you have a page with several products and several links, you need to make sure that if you have too many, to show more, you actually put pagination. You should not add these load more buttons or buttons that as you reach the bottom, more links appear, although they are probably more helpful to the user because it's not changing the page. For example, it's just loading more and then it opens it. This is horrible for Google because Google cannot see these links that just appeared. It doesn't see them. So when it lands in this page guides, it will only see the links until here. And therefore Google doesn't consider that the page guide has an internal link to how to join a football academy, for example. This is why the way Google has mentioned you should deal with it is with pagination. So you go here, you put different pages, and then as you click this, it will reload the page and open another page. Can you see here it says page 2 now? And then now these products are in that second page. And this way Google can manage to reach those links because it will look at all the links in this website, in this page specifically, go to page 2, visit the page 2 in this case, and it will be able to actually find these links, and the same for page 3 and 4 and so on. And an error that a lot of people make, and this client of mine is doing and I'm trying to fix, is that it should not have a canonical to the main page. Can you see the main page was Tumblr's, and then page 2 has a canonical to the main page. No, it should have a canonical to itself. And then the last place where you can optimize your website like crazy and get a lot of rankings that is not under all issues is under Page Explorer and internal link opportunities. So if you go to Page Explorer, you want to make sure of one very simple thing. It's going to show you all the pages of your website, but it's also going to show if they actually have traffic. So all you have to make sure is that for the ones that have traffic, you scroll all the way here and that they have a good amount of internal links. You can see 37, 39. This seems to be the average in my website. So if I keep scrolling, you can see the traffic sort of ends until here, and all of them has that 37, 39 internal link count. So that's good to go. And what you can do as well is go and scroll at the ones that don't have a lot of internal links and identify if they are a page that's important. In this case, you can see they're all images. These are uncategorized archives that I don't care about, and that's it. But if you were to find, let's say, a blog right here that doesn't have traffic and has a low amount of internal links, that might be the reason that it doesn't have traffic, because you need to add internal links. So then you should go and actually add internal links to that blog or that page. And to add more of those internal links throughout your website, you can go to internal link opportunities, and it's literally going to identify a page that could internally link to another page and how you should internally link it. It does it all for you to make sure you squeeze as much SEO value as possible. So for example, it's looking at this page right here that has a good SEO score, 70. So if I put an internal link from this page to another, it will transfer some of that 70 SEO power to the other page. It's telling me that this link should internally link to this page right here with this text. It literally tells you what anchor text to put and the text around it. So you literally can just copy paste this and put it in your website, and it will be internally linked into your page. It's unbelievable how good this is. I have so many of these SEO technical tricks, so if you want more of them, just tell me in the comments and I'll do another video. And if you want the link of the audit tool, like I promised, because you're still till the end, the link is in the description of the video. And now is your turn. Let's go.